Welcome, everybody, to 30 Minutes of Wisdom. We get together twice a month to support your personal and professional development. And I love to share Jim Rohn's quote, work twice as hard on yourself as you do on your business, because you are your business. And today, oh my gosh, we've got an amazing guest to help you do exactly that. And I think many of you know, I'm your host, by the way, Robin Blank Mascari. And our guest today is an epitome and a model of what we're talking about in personal development. I'm going to bring her on in just a second. I met our guest when I was recently in Siesta Key, and she showed up at our event, and she was wearing jeans and a t-shirt, but she was in her power. And I'm going, and now that I've read her book, and let me do the proper intro. So before we get into the details, she is a top 5% realtor, award-winning author of Mingle to Millions. I got all her goodies here too. This lovely book. And the subtitle is The Art and Science of Building Business Relationships and Mastering Referrals. How perfect is that? She's excelled in real estate, lead generation, hosting events, networking events, public speaking, partnering for profits and nonprofits. And she has this unique ability of connecting people in a way to see opportunity and create cash for her clients. And this has led her to make money making a difference, a true win-win-win. So, she's a coach, she's an author, a speaker, a mentor. Like I started to share, I met her not too long ago at an event in Florida, and she showed up in her power. And when I read her red suit story in her book, it's a great story about mindset and skill set, and we'll get into some of that in a little bit. But it is my pleasure to welcome Cami Baker with us today. Let's see you. Oh, there she is. Hi.
Hey, don't we love when technology works? Yay, technology.
Yay, yay, yay. We both got this. This is a treasure. And a lot of people used to refer to me as a networker. And then I finally was in career transition and they had me teach networking. But you've taken it to a whole nother level. And I'm thrilled to share. But let's give a little background, because you were not always successful like you are now. And you have become an amazing student. And you know how I love this profession because it is a personal development program with a compensation plan. And you have been in network marketing, and we are professional networkers, but most of us have never learned what that really means. So Cami, why don't you share a little bit about your story of what brought you here today? And then we're going to get into talking about how you look at networking in a very different way, and a really, really wonderful win-win-win way.
Well, thank you for all of that, Robin. And I'm always honored to be on a show. And when people read my bio and my background, I think, wow, is that me? That's pretty cool. And it certainly was not always that way. I do come from humble beginnings, and I say very often, if I can do this, anybody can do it. It certainly was. As a matter of fact, I'm at the home that I grew up in right now, and my daughter's been looking through old photos of me, and she came up to a couple of photos of beauty pageants that I was in. And even though I won a couple of beauty pageants, I had no friends. I was not popular. I had one friend in school, and when she wasn't in school, I sat and ate lunch by myself. And I always dated guys that were out of school. I was I have always been the square peg, round hole, kind of not fit in, black sheep, whatever analogy you want to use. That was me. And so growing up, I was adopted, and my brother and I always really felt out of place. We used to sit at family reunions and say, aren't we glad we don't really belong to this family? Like, I've just never ever fit in anywhere. And even to this day, unless it's my own event, my own tribe where people are there to see me speak, I'm completely a fish out of water. So if you're out there needing to network, needing to meet people, needing to put your hand in the hand of another person, or fist bump as it would be these days with the pandemic, I get it. I get how painful it is to actually initiate conversation and to show up powerfully. But fast forward a little bit, I always like to talk about my alcoholism, because so often people can really relate to that, whether you have a drinking problem or whether you just simply understand what it's like to be in a place where you're making poor decisions and hanging out with the wrong people and trying to get entrepreneur advice from our employee friends, etc. My alcoholism was actually one of the best things that could have happened for me, because it was my alcoholism that helped me to get on the path to the road to recovery as a student. As you were mentioning earlier, Jim Rohn's quote about, working on yourself being really the most important work. And if I hadn't have been such a drunk, such a fall down, blackout, nasty mouth drunk, I wouldn't have wanted to fix myself. And now I understand I'm not trying to fix myself. I'm just trying to find myself. I've only lost myself a little bit. But it just goes to show. So here I am in New Hampshire. I had grown up in the South, in Florida and Georgia. I'd owned a bar. I've been an entrepreneur since I was 8 years old. I was selling gum to other kids for profit at 8 years old. And over the years, I had done lots of different types of businesses. And now this was about 20 years ago, I find myself in New Hampshire. And I got there with my baby in tow. She was about 4 months old. The man that I was with, that I met at my bar in Florida. Now we're in New Hampshire together. We had a U-Haul with the largest U-Haul they make, with everything that I owned in that U-Haul. And I showed up in this state, and guess what I also brought with me? Me. And I just needed to fix myself. I was broke, busted, disgusted, down in the dumps, drunk all the time, a 2-year-old baby that needed a better example of a mother, just no doubt about it. And so I ended up getting sober. And when I got sober, the first thing I needed to do was get a job, get a job. And I started working for a gentleman at a Remax office, and it was the best thing that could have happened to me, because I learned about real estate. And for the first couple of years, I was his listing coordinator. I did everything and anything that a listing agent would do other than go on the appointments. And I was basically a paid assistant to an agent that did over 100 deals a year. And by the time I got my license, I knew what to do. And God bless for that. So as I got my real estate license, my biggest goal, you know how they say put a picture up of something that you really want, vision boards. Boy, does it work. I wanted a convertible Mustang so bad, like a 64 and a half, really cool. The one that when they want somebody to look cool in a movie, they put them in this cool old convertible Mustang. And I wanted that so bad. I had one up on my wall. And when I was making those phone calls, whether I was in real estate or network marketing, when I would want to quit, I would see that picture of that Mustang. And I ended up getting it. The first deal in real estate that I did, where I made a decent check, I bought this convertible Mustang. And I ended up with that car doing all of these car shows. I found myself, putting my car in, and this one place that we said, hey, do you have a car show? I was out promoting myself, just completely ignorant, no idea what to do, just following on gut instinct. Now I've got this 2, 3, 4-year-old little baby. I'm by myself. I'm living in a mobile home, but now I've got a career and I need to do something. I need to go out and meet people. So this car turned into my platform to get out and meet people. And I did my own car show. I called this one place. They said, we don't have a car show, but we'd love to have one. Would you like to sponsor it? And I said, yes, please. So another little tip, when people ask you to do something, say yes, don't be afraid. I had no idea what I was doing. I was so green and ignorant. But I got cars to that show. And the first car show I did, there were 50 cars, and every one of them was trying to give us money at the door to register their car. And we were so ignorant, we didn't know. We were just doing a car show to have some fun. But everybody tried to give us $20. And I figured 50 cars times $20, that's $1,000. There's somebody out there that could use that money. So I found a nonprofit. And every year for the next 7 years, we did that car show, and we gave that money to that nonprofit. And I learned a long time ago that even when people didn't care so much about me or Remax or real estate, they loved that we were doing something to give back. They loved that we were helping the horses at the Live and Let Live farm. They loved that we were helping Ronald McDonald or Make-A-Wish or whoever. So that's how I got into the cause marketing with the cause, for-profit and nonprofit coming together to make money, making a difference. And now I've taken that to a whole new level with a new way of doing that. But that kind of encapsulates in a nutshell how I went from broke, busted, and disgusted and drunk and waking up at 9 o'clock in the morning, drinking, watching Jerry Springer and wanting to die, to actually writing that fun book. And now I'm touring the country in my RV. I'm coming to you from Georgia right now, where I'm sitting at my mom's and getting ready to head out west. I've been down in Florida doing a tour down there with the book, and just living the life and having a good time.
That's an amazing story. So I do hope everyone realizes it's not where you start. And what Cami has done, and in reading her book, which, it's like I have like a lot of little post-its in here. And when I read the index, or the whatever it is, the contents, I want all of this, and so you've come a long way, and anybody can. And you became a student, and in the back of your book you have a whole list of books that have made a difference to you, and you found yourself mentors, and that's really important. So let's come back full circle here, because Mingle to Millions, the art and science of building relationships and mastering referrals, because we know we're in the relationship business. We know we're professional networkers, but people have never been trained. What does that mean? And you've created this wonderful definition of different kinds of networkers. And I loved it, because I've seen myself in all of them, and I know what I want to be now. So would you kind of give the definition? Because I think a lot of us are going to get busted in a good way, because awareness is the first step, and then we can move into being the elegant spider. So
there's a new archetype that is not even in the book. Whenever I do the next edition of the book, that's the second edition. When I do the next edition, I'll add the last one, and I'll share that one now.
Great.
So what we're talking about is, when we go to networking events, listen, I don't care if you're in a room or in a Zoom, you are meeting the same people over and over and over. And guess what? You are projecting these different archetypal ways of showing up. So let's start with the person who is giving a card to everyone. Here's my card, here's my card, here's my card. If we're in Zoom, it might be that person who's just trying to cram their contact information down people's throat. They are spraying their card everywhere. They're spraying and praying something will happen. It's kind of repelling and repulsive. You don't even know them. They're trying to push themselves on you. And those are the skunks. They're the skunks, because they're spraying that card out and praying something will happen, and they're kind of repelling. We've all met that person. Then there are the people who want to get a card from everybody. Hey, let me get your card. Let me get that card. They walk up to you. You're having a good time with 3 or 4 or 5 people in a circle. They walk up. They just want everybody's card. Let me grab your card. Or they're at the event with all the tables, and they go around grabbing a card off everybody's table, and they leave with that big stack of cards that they squirrel away in their pocket so that they can go home and put you on their boring email list. They don't know how to call you or reach out to you, but boy, do they squirrel your information away and bombard you with stuff. Those are the squirrels. Then there are the dun 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 dun. Try my product, join my business, sign my contract. They're the ones that when you're talking to them, they're really kind of looking around the room. They're not even looking at you, because they're looking for their next prey. Those are the sharks that are in the room. They're there for their own needs, and they could care less about you. They're shark in the room. Now, the fourth would have been what we were going to talk about, but now I've added the fourth one, because there is also now the sloth. The sloth is the one that just sits in the corner with their phone, or they're on Zoom and they've got their camera off. They're afraid to actually engage with people. They showed up, they're there, they went to that networking event, but it doesn't work. Yeah, no, you don't work. You're a sloth. So if we don't want to be a skunk, a squirrel, a shark, or a sloth, what can we be? Well, when you think about what a spider does, a spider will create connections, connect this person to this person, this event to this event, resources, relationships, and revenue. All of this is creating this net web. And a spider doesn't attack or pounce on or assertively, aggressively go after. A spider sits and waits for that which she wants to come to her. So, we are a beautiful example of this. You are a living spider, because as you are at that event, I didn't know anyone at that event. I knew one person who brought me there, dropped me off, and left, which was beautiful and fine and perfect, exactly the way that it was. But as I was there, I kept being told, you need to meet Robin. You need to know Robin. Robin's the gal. She's the one. You need to come back tomorrow and see Robin speak. Robin, Robin, Robin. So obviously, you're doing those things. You've created a net web that makes you a spider. You're a natural spider. Some of us are not natural spiders because I have been a skunk, a squirrel, and a shark all in one time, rolled into one aggressive, which was really more just a fear based, hungry single mother, not knowing any better and not knowing what to do, and just giving cards and taking cards and sharking and begging and just all this stuff that I was being. It took me a long time to step into my spiderhood. And if it wasn't for my spiderness, and being the female spider woman, you and I wouldn't be doing this interview right now. I created a net web of sorts, and that book was very helpful for that. That had you come to me and ask me to be on this interview. So it's about being strategic. Networking doesn't work because it's random acts. You show up late, you leave early, you throw out a bunch of cards, you grab a bunch of cards, you say networking doesn't work, but no, it's you that doesn't work. Net webbing is planned strategy. It's it's setting intention, paying attention, creating retention of the resources, relationships, and revenue that rock.
Okay, so this is huge what you just said. And I hope everyone is kind of doing a little introspection of kind of looking at yourself from the networking perspective, and knowing that whatever it is fine, because we can always change. That the shift that you made, Cami, of and you call it um, resources, relationships, and revenue, that there's a bigger intention. The web isn't just about meeting someone to have an exchange and, helping each other in business or buying or selling product services. It's much bigger than that. And you created a whole new field in real estate because of that. Because when you, before you go to an event, you get very clear on things. So can you share with people, like, how you set up your mind before you attend an event, and what's really important to, really accomplish these things you're talking about to create that web?
Well, I can, and I feel called to also, since you are what you just said inspired me to share something that a mentor taught me years ago when it comes to the difference between looking for leads and planting our seeds. So seeds are kind of like people, and some seeds are sweet pea seeds. You plant a sweet pea seed, and within a couple of months, you have sweet peas and you eat for the day. Some seeds are like pumpkin seeds, where you plant the seed and it takes months and months, but then when that seed fruits, you get to eat for a whole season. And some seeds are like apple trees. You plant the seed and it takes years and years for it to finally bear fruit. But once it does, it feeds you for a lifetime and for generations to come. Oh, I just get chills when I do
I,
that.
I got them too.
Oh, God, that's so good. And the only reason I can alliterate and have all of these analogies is because I'm a good damn student. And I had a mentor years ago. She could just alliterate, conversations, collaborations, and it was so wonderful. And one day I started doing it, and I said to her, I said, "Oh, I'm alliterating now." She said, "Oh, the torch has been passed." But so the seeds, the analogy is the people that you meet. Look, some people are sweet pea seeds. They need what you've got right now. They need it. There's no doubt about it. They need to lose weight. They need to make money. They need to buy or sell a house, whatever it is that you do. Some people aren't going to need what you have for a few months, and some people it might not be for years. And I've got a story in the book about that, about a gentleman that I met, and it was years and years before we ended up doing any business together. But when we did, it was big, big business. So keep that in mind. But back to your original question, when we're going to an event, whether it's physical or Zoom, especially with it being Zoom. Well, any event. Look, if you're going to get in the car and get dressed and take an hour to get ready and an hour to drive to get to an event, then you're there for an hour and a half, and then it takes you an hour. You just spent 5 hours going to an event, not 1 hour, 5 hours. And that was one of the reasons why I thought of all this stuff. One day I had gone to an event. I got up at 4:30 in the morning to take a shower, to leave for 6, to be in an event for 7. Da, 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 da. By the time I got home at 11, I thought, my God, this was an all day affair just to go meet 3 or 4 people. So set intention. The things that I talk about that are alliterated are just easier to remember. Set intention, pay attention, create retention. So when you set intention before you go, first of all, go early, get there early, because when you get there early, you can meet the movers, the shakers, the leaders. You can offer to help out if it's a physical event. You can even research, reach out, relationship build before you go to an event. You can find out who's going to be there, who the speakers are, who the leaders are. If it's a meetup, you can look down the side on the right-hand side and see who's coming to the event. And you can reach out to people before you even go to the event so that you've done your research, reach out, relationship build, so that by the time you walk in the room, you're not just kind of fumbling around. Well, I'm here now. I don't know who to talk to. I think I'll just come over here and pretend to be doing something on my phone because I'm awkward and socially awkward and don't know what to do. Well, if you reach out to people beforehand, now you can say, hey, I'm looking for Robin. Can you tell me, Robin, Cami Baker, you and I've been chatting on email. It's so nice to finally meet you. So the point is, set intention, know why you're going, know who you want to meet, know something about what's going to be said at that event. I went to that event and I met you guys. I was completely off the cuff. I didn't even know what that was about. But before I came back the next day, I did do a little bit of research and I looked into your company to see what was going on so I could have intelligent conversations. So set intention, paying attention gets into how are you showing up? What is your posture? What is your body language? You mentioned I walked in with jeans, but I had purpose, and you could just tell that I was someone of substance, of consequence, someone that you wanted to know. Well, that comes from years and years of being someone that you wouldn't want to know and becoming aware, set intention, pay attention. Now I pay attention. It's real easy for me to also shut down, walk into a room, not make eye contact, and just not be there, not paying attention to who I'm being and how I'm showing up. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you are one of those people who has like not such a big grandiose personality, maybe you're more quiet, good for you. You have even more power than we do because you listen. You listen. You're a better listener. It's better to be a listener than a yacker any day of the week. So we all have our superpower. What is your superpower? Play off your superpower. Don't try to be Robin. Don't try to be Cami. Don't try to be whoever. Be you in the most powerful, enlightened way.
Beautiful. And then you won't need a red suit anymore, right?
Tell you that red suit. If I knew then what I know now, I would still have that red suit and I would wear it on stage.
Yeah, it's a great story.
If you want to know the red suit story, you have to read the book.
Yeah, yeah. So, one of the things when I was going through the table of contents and I was loving everything, I had to, why don't people respond to me? And I know a lot of people are hesitant to go to networking groups because they don't know what to say. They don't know how to engage. We're talking about relationships. But people don't know how to do it. And years ago, I was with a company and we didn't say to people, hi, how are you? Because that's, a pat question and a pat answer, fine. We'd say a quote, I think it was from Walt Whitman. I'm not sure. I'll have to check this out. What has become clear since we last spoke? And so you have a line that is really powerful that can totally transform people's experience of engaging with other people. Would you talk about that to help people engage?
I have quite a few. I'm not sure exactly which one, but
Oh,
I'll
the one about passion and what you're working on, your
sure.
project. Yeah, or any of the other ones, whatever you want to share. But, a lot of times people need an opening way to connect. And it's, you kind of get rid of the 30-second elevator speech and choose to engage in a way that actually engages and develops relationships. So what are a few of those things? I'm just thinking of one of them, but you've got several. Go for it.
Ding dong, the pitch is dead. 30-second pitch, the elevator pitch. Ding dong, the wicked pitch is dead. Guys, stop and look. You might have wonderful mentors like Robin that help you come up with your typical 30-second elevator pitch. And I don't put down anybody for what they do. We all need to do whatever it is that makes us comfortable. For me, the pitch is dead. Let it die. Let it go. We want other people to talk first so that we know what they want to hear about us. So when people ask me, hey, what do you do? 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 People, Robin, sometimes when people say, what do you do? I'll say, well, what I do is I help other people stop saying, what do you do? So that they can actually have an intelligent, engaging conversation. But I'm not suggesting that other people say that, because you got to really have a set of kahunas to do that. And you got to know how to follow it up. And it burns a lot of bridges. So don't do it unless you're in the right place. But anyway, instead of saying, what do you do? Ask people something like, hey, what are you passionate about? What wakes you up in the morning? Tell me, I love this one. I love this one. And I'm actually going to do it with you right now, Robin, so that we can actually have an example. So, Robin, tell me something about you that has nothing to do with your work or where you're from.
I wake up every morning and I look out in our garden and I'm blown away with the beauty of what we have here that I'm surrounded by. We bought our house from a master gardener and we get blessed every springtime with this massive amount of flowers. and I'm just really blessed.
Now, beautiful. And look, I could go off on a conversation with her for the next 30 minutes that has nothing to do with work, that just is talking about beauty and flowers and colors and, the person who built their home and what, like, that could go in so many different directions. But what I want you all to see from that, notice how when I asked that question, she went, And what happened was you got a nice little dose of dopamine, because you started thinking about something that you love, something that makes you feel good. And consciously, you're not thinking about it, but subconsciously, I just made you feel good. Look, the book is called The Art and Science of How to Build Business Relationships and Master Referrals. There is a science to this. And for those of you who keep asking where to get the book, please don't go on Amazon. My book has been raped and pillaged, and it is in 40 different places on Amazon, but that's not me. You need to get it straight from me so that I can sign it, so I can autograph it for you, and I can give you a pretty little fun gift. I'll give all of you the digital copy for free. So look, here's my cell number, 603-785-2598. Oh my God, she gave out her cell phone number. Good Lord, how will she ever manage? Look, people are so afraid of human interaction. Cami at camibaker.com. It's real easy to find me. Send me a message, tell me that you're a friend of Robin's, and I'll send you the digital copy for free. If you want to get the physical copy, it's $20 plus shipping, big deal. Send me a message and I'll send you my PayPal, but I want to autograph it for you. I want to put a special little gift in there for you. So come straight to me to get the book. But I got off on a tangent, Robin. I don't even remember where I was going with that. Oh, the dopamine. So a lot of the times when you say that, hey, tell me something about you, where you're from, not where you're from or what you do, but something completely else. You'll see people do this. And when they start looking around, they're searching their brain. And Tony Robbins will drop the F-bomb, and he will say, I dropped the F-bomb because it snaps people into state. It snaps them out of that robotic, what do you do? What do you do? What do you do? And they're expecting your boring elevator pitch. But when you can say, you know what? I really want to learn about you. Tell me something about you that has nothing to do with work or where you're from. They stop. You have just completely engaged them, because they were in robotic form, and then you said something and they went, and they have to think about it. And that's when you get the dopamine flowing and you get to meet the real person. See, now we can talk with Robin about her garden, and that can go in a million different directions. That is not try my product, join my business, sign my contract, because I guarantee you, 1,000 times more people try her product, join her business, and sign her contract than will do for others who just want to go straight for the jugular. Oh, well, let me tell you, I've got a product and you got to have it. It's life changing. Ah! Stop it.
And this is the biggest mistake people make when they're networking. They forget that it's not about them, it's about developing the relationship. So asking something that taps into their passion, that, the most passionate people are the most successful people. And my nephew, he put all his passions together as a young person, and he's a rock star with what he's created because he's totally passionate about these 6 different things. He created a business about it. He's all over the world, and he's rocking it because it's his passion. And so that's so beautiful. And I'm looking at the clock and I'm going, oh my gosh, we're already at the bottom of the hour. That 30 minutes went so fast.
Real quick. So, speaking of our
Yes.
passions, about a year and a half ago, I'm at a conference because I'm a consummate learner. I love, love, love. I love to learn as much as I love to teach. It's a very equal thing. So, I'm out at a conference and I learned about charitable gifting of real estate. Huh? People want to give their property away? Uh huh. There are nonprofits that are struggling and hurting that can actually bring in an average of $550,000 in one donation from one person? Huh? How does that work? Why have I never heard of it? Well, you've never heard of it because there's 1.3 million nonprofits out there, and 99% of them won't take real estate, but we have a solution. We have a really simple way. We are the bridge between the donor and any of the 1.3, your nonprofit, your church, your human trafficking group that you want to help, your veteran group, your animal group. We love them. We can help them get funded by the millions of dollars. $8 billion a year is donated through real estate. And I'm just dropping this in really quick because this is the best cause marketing campaign. This is the best conversation starter. I'm always strategizing. How can I find something to talk about that is different, that is unique, that gives great follow-up? I give great follow-up. So one way to do that is to talk about something that no one else is talking about that everyone wants to know about. Everyone on here has a nonprofit that you love. Whether you love your church and have been going there for 50 years, whether you love to go out and do run-a-thons for the ALK community or for cancer research, or your father was a veteran or your mother died of breast cancer, we all have those groups that we love. And when I start talking about charitable gifting of real estate, people start talking to me about this because they don't know anyone else that talks about it. And then they are introducing me to lots of people. Hey, you need to meet this woman. She runs this nonprofit. Hey, you need to meet this real estate company because you pay real estate agents a full commission. So you need to talk to this real estate company who has all these people who would love to be a charitable real estate specialist. Hey, you need to meet this guy or gal that has 20, 50, 100 properties, and they want to have tax relief that you can give them that no one else can. So my point is, when you have something you're passionate about, am I passionate about that? Does that show up in what I'm saying and who I'm being? I get so tired of people saying, what do I say when? What do I say if they say, what do I do? Look, don't be so worried about what you say. Be more concerned about how you say it and who you're being. Who you are being shows up long before you open your mouth. Isn't it true that we walk into a networking event and we can see people across the room? I want to talk to her. I have no interest in talking to that guy. Ooh, she better stay away from me. And it's all from our body language. We need to show up empowered. Who are you being is much more powerful than what you are saying every day of the week.
What an amazing creation, making a living, making a difference. And I mean, I just thought of a few realtors I want to connect with you because I can't help it. And that's what's so fun about this is what it's all back to the net web of how you can connect people that develop relationships that make a difference and produce revenue for everybody. Everybody wins. It's a huge gift you are, my dear. I love that Jessica invited you to Siesta Key. Thank you, Jessica.
I love Jessica Peterson, and see there again, Jessica Peterson is a realtor in the Siesta Key area, And she just got a big shout out on your wonderful program that will be seen by thousands of people because she is a consummate spider. She keeps her word. When she tells you she's going to introduce you to somebody, she does. She doesn't just talk her talk, she walks her walk. And that's so important for all of us. Have integrity. Keep your word. Stop setting appointments and then not keeping your appointment. I almost didn't keep my appointment this morning with Robin, and I was horrified. I said, no, 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 wait a second. I messed up. Please let me jump in the shower. I'll be right there. So you got to keep your word. You have to be someone that when people say your name and think of you, they think of, wow, integrity. That person does what they say that they'll do. I need to introduce that person because she always makes me look good when I introduce her to people.
I love it. I love it. Well, how about if we take a quick few questions before we close up? Does anyone have a question for Cami? And while you guys are thinking, put it in the chat. Just if you could briefly, because we've got the book, we want to make sure everyone knows how to get the book. You got to contact Cami at Cami Baker, and her phone number is in the chat. And then she'll send a free digital copy to you. And there is a section on here on skill set versus mindset. Let's see if anyone's got a question. I don't see one. Could you briefly talk about that? Because it's crucial in our business and in life. You know, people get so busy developing skills, but they're not necessarily being effective. So what can they do?
You know, one of the things that I always get asked when I'm interviewed, and I've been interviewed hundreds of times now, they always ask, well, what's that one piece of information that you would give, that one thing? And mine is change your playgrounds and your playmates. You know, this is something that I learned in the AA world, but it's something that if you don't want to get drunk, you don't hang out with drunks that are drunk. If you want to be an entrepreneur, you don't get your advice from employees. If you want to make $250,000 a year, you don't ask people who make $40,000 a year how to do it. Change your playgrounds and playmates. Who are you hanging out with? And we all need mentors, and you can start right now without spending any money at all. Just think about, what music are you listening to? Instead of music, listen to some recordings that Robin has done, or Jim Rohn, or Cami Baker, or anyone, whoever turns you on. Listen to uplifting stuff that, I mean, I'll listen to stuff. I'm driving my rig. I'm in my Class C rig right now. There's nothing I love better than driving this rig other than getting on stages and teaching about charitable gifting of real estate. But I'm driving and I'm listening to stuff and I'm taking notes. I'm warping all over the road, but I'm taking notes because I'm listening to something that turns me on. Change your playgrounds and playmates. Who are you hanging around with? Who are you listening to? Ask me a question. Ask me something right now that can change your life. Throw it in the chat. Just find out now. What is it? What is it? What is it?
Okay, what is it, you guys? What is it? We thank you for bringing great sunshine for a rainy day, Nancy says. You got a lot of great. Greg, how do you bump into new people? From Wendy.
How do you bump into new? Well, first of all, you need to be bumping. In other words, we can't meet new people if we're just sitting at home, although we can now obviously do it on Zoom. You know, the pandemic has made networking even easier when you think about it, because now we don't need to spend that hour driving. Look, here's how. Right now, you're on this. Now you're in this Zoom right now with other people who are probably all in the same business that you're in and all the same people. But typically, 99% of the time, if you're in a Zoom like this, are you putting over in the chat box your name, what you're passionate about, where you're from? You know, are you making a bold statement? Are you showing up? I'm doing all I can right now to not say the F word because I know Robin's a very respectable woman. But are you doing every effing thing that you can do to show up and be present? So when I'm on Zooms like this, how I bump into people is I stake my claim in that room. When people are talking about something, I'll be over in the chat and I'll come up with a comment where I can get in the conversation. Oh, that reminds me of blah 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 blah. You know, hey, if you want to learn more about that, go to this link. Blah 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 blah. So show up. All of you right now could put in the comments your phone number, what you're passionate about, who's the nonprofit that you love. Give them a shout out. In other words, You know, you hear us talking about stuff. Don't be afraid to say your name, and to be bold, and just so the red suit story ends talking about the difference between have, do, be, and be, do, have. People think they need to have something. They need to be thin. They need to be retired. The kids need to be out of school. They need to have these things. You have so that then they'll be happy. When have, do. Now I'm screwing myself up. You When you reverse it around though, my thing is be that successful network marketer, be that real estate agent, be that person that others want to be engaged with and communicating with and collaborating with. Because when you be that person, you will do what that person will do and therefore have what that person will have, as opposed to sitting around waiting to have a bunch of new people to hang out with, because then you'll do something and then you'll be successful, then you'll be happy. Don't wait to be first. And when you be powerful and you be showing up powerfully, then you'll do what that person would do and you'll have what that person would have. Does that make sense?
That's beautiful. And that kind of ties into this question that Mary Page had. And she said, had I better dress better than like a stay-at-home grandmother farmer when I go out?
Well, you know what? You need to wear what makes you feel good. And well, so when my book first came out, notice what I'm wearing on the book. I've got on jeans and a blazer. And up until this cover was shot that day in Miami, every time I went to events, I had a ton: skirts, suits, pants, all these pantsuits, things that I look good in, but they weren't necessarily comfortable. Certainly not something that I would have chosen to be hanging out in all day. But I had seen this guy, Bill Walsh. I saw him for years on stages with he had his jeans and his blazer on. And I thought, man, I want to be comfortable like that. I want to just wear jeans and a blazer. So when my publisher called me and said, we need a full head to toe image of you to put on the front of the book, not a headshot, a full head to toe, I chose to put on jeans and a blazer, and bam, this became my image. And everywhere I go, up until the pandemic, which I hardly go anywhere live anymore, but when I do, you bet your sweet patootie, I've got on some nice jeans and a blazer. And when my color was red in the past, I had on a red shirt and some rockin' red shoes. Now my color is teal. Everything I have is teal. I've switched to my more earthy side. So, but I still have on the same jeans, the same blazers, but now I've got on a teal top and teal shoes. So there's nothing fancy about what I wear. And it's not expensive. As a matter of fact, I call it Granimals for adults, because I grab any pair of jeans, any blazer, any shirt, bam, there's my outfit, and everybody loves it. They love that I dress that way. It's professional, it's edgy, it's fun, it's comfortable. You can't help but see me walk into a room, and I don't care how dressed up people are. When I've got on those jeans and that bling bling belt and a little bit of bling bling going on, I'm right in there too. So wear whatever makes you comfortable, not what other people say you should wear. But I have seen people show up in cut off jeans and a tank top, get on a stage to present, and me judge, ew, that guy looks dirty. He's got that beard. Then to find out he had just created the blah blah thing that just made millions of dollars and the yada yada. It's like people don't judge people by their clothes anymore. They judge by how they show up, who they're being. So it all comes back to the being. Who are you? It's not what you say, it's how you say it. It's not what you wear, it's how you wear it. Who are you being?
Beautiful. Well, Cami, that was inspiring, amazing, educational, fun, and I want more. So I'm going to keep reading and get more of you.
I'm going to
And
put in the chat. Please join my group, The Real Agents of Change. The Real Agents of Change. It's not just real estate agents, it is realtors, it is leaders, it is nonprofits, it's anyone who wants to make money making a difference, anyone who is passionate and wants to be a part of a paradigm change, a movement that we are creating that is funding nonprofits by $8 billion a year. And we as a group The Real Agents of Change are adding $1 billion a year to the nonprofit world. And every one of these donations requires a real estate agent to list and liquidate so we can give the cash to the nonprofits. $1 billion is 50 million in commissions a year that we pay out to bring in $1 billion for the nonprofit world. So if you want to do something big and really be engaged, you want to bump elbows and meet really cool people, the Real Agents of Change. I'm going to pop it in here.
That's so beautiful. Well, while you're doing that, I want to thank you. It's been a huge gift to have you with us. What great wisdom, your life experience. You found mentors, you became a student, you've always a student. There's a clue, everyone. Cami is always learning, and work on that mindset before your skill set. Set your intention, develop relationships, and realize that we can all be spiders. Let's all be spiders in our net web. So thank you everyone for being here. Thank you, Cami. It's been a joy, a joy. And bye everybody. Thanks so much for being with us.